One of you kind individuals sent me something a couple of weeks ago. I had never seen it before, but I'm comfortable saying it is the best church branding that I have glimpsed in a long time. Now, if you like this style of video where we highlight cool projects that churches are up to, make sure to give the video a like, really does make a difference. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Let's dive in. This is Saint Church in London, England, formerly Hackney Church, and the branding was done by Osme, a creative agency, also from London. Now, what prompted this church's rebranding project was that their building was undergoing a massive restoration. A bit of history on this church. St. John at Hackney is an iconic Anglican parish church in the London borough of Hackney. It's got a large capacity of about 2,000 people and was built in 1792 to replace Hackney's medieval parish church, which goes all the way back to 1275. So, obviously a ton of history here. And not only is this a thriving church, but the building itself, it's also a music venue playing host to the likes of Coldplay, Ed Sheeran, and Interpol. And the fact that this church building also operates as a music venue is important, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But back to the restoration project first. Here's a quote directly from the church. "To facilitate our ambitious vision, Saint has just completed a once-in-a-lifetime restoration of Hackney Church and its surrounding churchyard. This £6 million project has turned this iconic building into a world-class music and events venue with thanks to lottery funding. The space is designed to be a cathedral of creativity for church, music, and unique experiences. Hackney Church is one of the largest venues in East London." And if you're curious what lottery funding means in this context, as I was, there's a badge on the church's website that says, "Made Possible with Heritage Fund." The Heritage Fund, full name the National Lottery Heritage Fund, was started in the mid-90s, and what it does is distributes a share of national lottery funding to support heritage projects across the United Kingdom. So this church's building, as historic as it is, qualified for this reno through this fund. Pretty cool. And reportedly, according to Wikipedia, about £2 million of the overall budget came from the lottery fund. Now, once the restoration project of the building was in motion, the rebranding project also began to take shape. And the inspiration for this church's new branding came from the stained glass windows in their building. Here's how Osme, the creative agency behind the branding, describes it. Quote, "First, we designed a core symbol, taking inspiration from the building's large stained glass windows. But they're not only a church, they're also a gig venue, brewery, charity, and apiary. So we also developed a series of symbols to introduce each area of work." And this is where we get into some really cool concepts. The logo mark starts with this arched window outline. It gets combined with a cross, and that becomes the primary logo mark for the church. And then there are variations with different symbols for each of the church's different branches. Then, Omzi took that same window outline and used it as a frame for different applications throughout the church. For example, stickers on cans. You can check out the back of this one can. You can see it says Hackney Church Brew Company. Very cool. This same window outline was used as frames for photos. You can see that here at the top of their revamped website. Also name tags for volunteers, and even an arch for text. You can also see it here in signage. Want to turn it into a necklace? Why not? They've got that as well. And what I love about this is that there's historic rooting in this outline, right? From the stained glass windows that date back hundreds of years in this church's building, but they're bringing it into a modern context, which is obviously outrageously challenging. How do you keep the reverence and heritage of something that is so special and rooted in the community while also recognizing the biggest communication shift in 500 years? How can those two intersect in meaningful ways that honor the past while also plotting a clear trajectory forward? Well, by taking this window outline and using that as the frame for a myriad of different creative and visual expressions across the church's online but also in-person identities, it's a constant reminder of where this church has come from that also projects hope and vision for what's next. But it doesn't stop there, because once the foundation of the brand identity was established, Omzi then got to work and built on this vision for the kids and families of East London that Saint Church serves. Another quote from the London-based creative agency. "We created unique identities for weekly programs that invite kids to explore faith or play games, and initiatives such as clothes and toy swaps and coffee mornings for the adults." And what that led to was these immensely cool illustrations for the kids ministry. And you can still see the frame outline in a variety of different ways here, often as a secondary visual piece or playing in the background. But what I love about this side of the branding project was they translated the brand to be playful, because it makes sense in the context of children's ministry for it to be playful. So let's plot this out for a moment, okay? You've got an English church dating back to literal medieval times, and a building that is marked as a Grade 2 historic structure in the UK. It doesn't get much more stuffy than that, right? This church desires to modernize. So they take this ancient heritage and freshen it up. Then they take that same new brand and apply its principles and visual rules into literal cartoons. And please, just imagine that for a moment, you're casting a vision like this in staff meeting. Hey, okay, we're gonna take the church's heritage. Oh, okay, and how far back are we talking here? Pretty far. You ever heard of Genghis Khan? Yeah, around then. But don't worry, we're gonna honor the history. Yeah, I should tell you though, there will be cartoons. Like, it sounds comical, pun intended, when you describe it in that way, and yet they pull it off magnificently well. And here's what the creative director of OMSI said about this, quote, "We'd like the brand to continue to develop over time and are interested in new ways to reference the window shape. The key parameters of the brand focus on utilizing imagery, illustration, or photography as the key differentiators, which changes depending on their intended audience." That final line is the key. The brand transforms based on its intended audience. The hallmark of great branding, not inwardly focused, but rooted in an identity that can then be shaped to meet the people it's trying to reach where they are. If you're curious about fonts, as we all are, across the entire brand, GT Alpina, a Roman serif drawn by Grilli type, is being used, and then Dynamo Sans serif Ginto was used for the church's youth programs. Again, quoting the creative director of OMSI, to give these programs a bit more edge and energy. Once again, contextualizing the brand to its audience. Now, if you are in the London area, this might be a great weekend outing. Check out this church in person, see the building redesign and the new branding in action. And true to form of a modern church, you can find a plan your visit page on this church's new website with notes about public transport, parking, accessibility, and contact info. Also included is, of course, address, service times, and what to expect in the form of service order. And I know this is not a video dedicated to church websites, but this is crucial information, folks. And look how it's displayed here. Nothing too crazy, just black text on a white background, neatly formatted, accordion drop-downs, so the text does not get too long. This kind of thing really does make a huge difference. I want to hear from you though. What are your thoughts on this church's rebrand? If you're curious to see more, you can go to saint.church and make sure to check out the branding agency behind this project as well. They're on Instagram at omsi.co. That same URL will take you to their website where you can explore other projects that they've been working on, www.omsi.co. And I've been saying OMSI this whole time because the word reminds me of DJI's Osmo Pocket Camera. I might have said Osmi at some point. If I did, apologize. If it's OMSI or something different, also my apologies. I did do a quick search to see if I could find in any agency video the pronunciation of the name, but was either looking in the wrong place or such a video does not exist. As for the video you should watch next, one of my favorite, the best church logos you've never seen before, it's linked on the screen, and thanks as always for your time, attention, and trust. We'll talk real soon.